Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Anybody have any comments, changes, suggestions?
Nope.
No, I don't anyway.
Richard has gone out of view, so we don't know where he went. Maybe he has comments.
Yeah, you left.
Richard?
Richard, you're being paged. He's
Thanks,
on his
Ann.
way.
I was getting my files.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a glass of wine.
Wait a second.
I'm not sure that's allowed, Richard. I don't know.
No drinking in board meeting. Well, hey.
It's not fair to them.
Been a long day. It's gonna be 5 o'clock soon, so,
Richard,
yeah.
have you had a chance to look at the minutes?
From the last meeting, I may have, why?
Well,
Did I
do you
say
remember-
something?
Do you remember anything you wanted to change?
No,
I move to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. That looked unanimous. So minutes are approved.
Okay, it looks like we've got our first person joining. That would be 72 Susquehanna.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Give me 1 minute. I just want to pull out a printout of the plan that we just got. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Or Jane, you could pull those up on the computer, right?
I can pull up the application. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to get that one done, squared away too.
Okay.
Um,
Should I ask her to start her video?
yeah, well, I mean, right now she's the only one here, so I would assume that that would be fine. I gotta
That's
find the right
40.
one.
Arlene Quinton will start video later. That's weird.
Oh, that's strange.
I've never seen that before.
We'll start video later.
That's what it says. Arlene Quinton will start video later.
Okay, so is 74 Susquehanna up on everybody's screen right now?
Yes,
Okay,
it's on mine.
but if she's not going to start right up, then I guess at this
It
point.
says her video's
There
on.
she is.
Okay,
She just appeared.
yay.
Hi, Carlene. She's on. Whether her video works or not, I'm not sure that matters. Does it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, her video's on.
There she is.
Can you hear us, Carlene?
Hello.
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 Can you hear
Hi,
it?
I'm having a problem like getting in with this video and hearing anything. I'm so sorry. I'm really trying. Hold on one second here.
Maybe just do the audio. You don't have to worry
I
about the
can't even
video.
hear anything.
Her video's there.
Right, but she can't hear.
Yeah.
Sometimes the video can make the connection bad, so. it's
Oh,
better to turn
okay.
the video.
Goodness. I'm gonna try to call back. I don't know. I can see a video, but I can't hear anything.
Dean, can I ask you a question in the meantime?
Hello?
Hello. Yes.
Oh.
we- Sign-
Goodness gracious. Okay, sorry about that. I had a really hard time.
Can-
Is this showing my video?
Yes.
Yes.
It is? Okay, okay.
yes.
Yes. we-
Sorry about that. How are you?
We're all doing okay, I believe. How are you?
Good now that I can make connection.
You do detailing?
Yes, yep. I've been doing it for over 20 years. I started more than 20 years. I started detailing when I was 10. My dad owns his own garage and body shop. And I work out of Sky Lake, moved to Cooperstown. I've owned 6 businesses in my life, liquidate everything after my divorce. And now I'm just trying, I used to do it part-time. And now full-time seems to be the way to go because a lot of people are interested. And I have a lot of good words of mouth, and I'm just trying to do everything that I can to get it up and going again.
Okay. Do you have did you get a permit from the ZBA?
She's
Yes.
in the process. She has this public hearing next week.
Okay,
Or next, sorry, well, I guess it is almost
Yeah,
next week,
yeah, well,
2
yeah.
weeks. But yes, she did her initial meeting, and the public hearing, like I said, is the 2nd of February or 2nd of March.
great, great. That's a pretty sign.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Is this the actual color?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Okay,
Do we know what size it is?
It's 18 by 24, which equals three
Oh.
square.
Yeah, it's like this, the campaign size sign. I mean,
Yeah.
sign size.
Exactly. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're voting for governor, and it's
Yeah.
a yard stake, so it can go in the ground wherever.
Mhm.
okay. So it'll just be staked into the ground whenever,
Well, I didn't know where to put it exactly. I would like to put it on the white fence, but if I can't, then I could put it, in the yard or on the garage. So that's why I sent Jane some of the pictures of where I could possibly put it, like to the right, behind the fence, or on the fence to the left, or behind on the garage. I wasn't sure. I was just, trying to see where it, would be a best approval from all of you.
Well, it meets the size requirements, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it looks like,
What do you need to see?
Jane, could you bring the picture of, just the bottom picture?
Which picture?
Well, either one of.
The sign?
No,
Okay.
the sign, either of the ones below the sign. That's fine. So is your house the one on the right?
It's this one.
Yeah.
Yes, the White House is the white fence,
And
70.
So all the work will be done back in this garage.
Right in the garage, yes. And like I had explained to the committee before, I do not have a car. So it will be one car that is every 24 hours, because I usually require to keep a car 24 hours. Because sometimes, I work late in this and that. But the most you'll ever see in my driveway would be 2 cars. And that would only be if one person's coming to pick up one vehicle and there's somebody else that's bringing in another one. But because I know there was an issue with parking, but
Okay.
I have a couple questions.
sure, of course.
Jane,
Yeah, go ahead.
we did the Rigby's house as their sign out near the street. They're a home occupation.
Mhm.
My question is, I don't see anything in the law right away, but is the sign need to be on private, on the plot or on the private property, or can it be on public property? And
Well,
for
it has to
example-
be on, it
On the
has to be on the property, so it has to be inside of the sidewalk.
Okay.
Well,
So
that's
on
what
the-
I was asking though, is where are the property lines on this street on Susquehanna? Is it immediately the other side of the sidewalk, or is the house?
No,
on the property
there's
line?
a white privacy fence right there, and I think there's a few inches, and then goes the sidewalk. So there's probably about, I would like to say, 7 to 8 or maybe more inches from the sidewalk. The fence is sitting. So that's why I originally mentioned by priority, the first place I'd like the sign would be right on that white fence on my property line. But if that has some kind of restriction or kind of, anything, then I could put it back on the lawn to the right side, right next to my house. Like, I wasn't quite sure what the guidelines were, so I wanted to make sure that.
I assume that if it is on the fence, since the fence is your property,
Right.
it is therefore on your property,
Correct.
Thank-
right?
Thank you.
Well, would you affix it to the fence, or would you stake it right in front of the fence?
If it was against a fence, I'd probably stake it, or if, like I said, if there's other requirements, I could adhere it right to the fence, or I could stake it, right on the fence. It doesn't matter. I just didn't know what the requirements were, if it had to be permanent or if it had to be able to be moved. I wasn't quite sure, so I kind of left that open.
Do you need it to be able to be moved?
No,
Yeah. This isn't part of the requirement, but I think you're much better off affixing it to the fence, I would think.
yeah, I'd like that too, but like I said, I just wasn't sure of your guidelines, so. But that would be my first, definitely my first incentive.
The one is, yeah, it is, with that fence, okay, because under, there's a section here, signs, identifying special permit uses, which this would be in residential districts, is described above, shall be at least 10 feet from the street line. So
Okay,
that-
actually, that would, from the street line, yes, that would be over 10 feet
Okay,
from the fence, yes. Because it's a good 7-8 feet from the sidewalk, and then another good 6-7-8 feet, or feet, excuse me, inches from the street line. So well over that.
okay.
Well, before we're dealing with the placement, does anybody have a problem with the sign?
No,
Okay. Then,
I'm trying to envision it though, in that neighborhood, in a residential neighborhood affixed to the, and I know that there's latitude here, but affixed to that fence. I'm not speaking to statute here because I'm not familiar, but just from a, just from an aesthetic standpoint, I'm not, and I realize there are other aesthetic issues in that neighborhood, principally the house next to it.
Oh, getting torn down, yeah.
So I don't want to get too crazy here, right? So,
Right,
but as I look at that house, my mind's eye gets drawn to the garage and not my mind's eye, my eye gets drawn to the garage in the back, and whether affixing the sign above the door in the garage, you're not looking to, I don't think you're looking to create sort of, walk-in traffic. Is that?
no, absolutely not, no.
So this is a line of demarcation that people are already looking for the property. We'll see the sign and say, okay, I found it.
Right,
Well, unfortunately, the garage is set way back, so I
Way
don't think if you're looking to find the property as you're driving down, you
Yeah.
won't probably be able to see it on the garage.
so that's why, like I had mentioned on the fence, or even to the right, that would be next to the house, where like I could even, because the parking garage for Bassett Hospital is being built currently. It's going to take a couple years yet, but
Right.
I've spoken to a lot of doctors that are very interested. They could go to work, leave their car here for 12 hours, that sort of thing, but they don't know unless they see it. So if I happen to put up my sign, or maybe put up some business cards or something where they could take one, it would just be a better way to promote my business, I guess I should say, because it is very hard to see the garage. You wouldn't see if you drove by any means.
Good
I
point.
also would think
Oh,
that
good point. I'm struggling with affixing a sign to that fence though.
I can put it in a stake in the lawn. That's why I said I was completely fine with that. I just didn't know what you guys had for guidelines or restrictions. So that's why I just kind of left a bunch of different possibilities and kind of was waiting on what you decided for me to do anything, you know? So like I said, it could go just in a yard stake, which is exactly the way it is, stuck right like against the fence, but not actually adhering to the fence.
If our, and I just need to take this back for a second. If our job is to interpret how the village laws and codes apply to the application, and the ZBA approves having a business on this property, can we say it's not pretty on the, you know, or as long as it's on the property, that it's not good affixed to the fence,
Yeah, you make a good point.
you know?
I agree.
I interpret our role a little more narrowly, I think.
I have a question.
Sure.
And the ZBA or Jane might be able to answer this. There's a Don Olin sign right there in the bottom left-hand corner, for real estate sign.
Oh, right.
No, that was a long time ago. That is not there anymore.
Right.
because
Why would not that be a good place and a good position for your sign so people coming down the street from both directions would be able to see it?
I never said it when I just didn't know. So I just kind of placed it a few places to see where you guys prefer what would meet the legal restriction. So I have no problem putting it anywhere. The only thing I fear is if I put it all the way back to the garage, no one will see it. So if I could put it anywhere, maybe where the real estate sign was, near the fence, it doesn't have to be adhered to anything, just strictly yard signs where people could see it when they actually drove or walked by. Placement is not even, you know, I'm totally okay with anything. I just didn't know what the possibilities would be.
What is the sign made of?
It's made of plastic
Plastic?
and it's a freestanding yard sign.
Mhm.
Well, you know, we ought to basically authorize some options and say whatever she picks is fine with us. You know, I mean, we can, and she can decide later which works best for her. Can we do that, Sheen? We,
in her garage.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
think that's the way to go.
yeah, we
Make
certainly,
her garages to live
can.
in by Patriano's, that little house.
I would propose that the left of the driveway where the Realty sign is would be the most logical place for it to be.
That's her.
Or to the right of the, you know, to the right of the driveway, right between the fence and the driveway. Yep,
Yeah.
where Jane is going. So I would suggest either of those options.
Now, would I be able to put it in front of the fence if it wasn't adhered to the fence? Or, I mean, that's not you know, availability. I'm okay with that, but I just had to ask. That would be the best way to show it and promote it. But if not, it's
Well,
still
I think the issue is if it's perpendicular to the sidewalk, then people from either direction will see it. If it's flat up against the fence, people coming from the south, I mean, from the gym area may not see the sign until they've passed the driveway.
right. So I have a
So-
one sign, so I think probably my best bet would to get a two-sided so you could see on both sides, because since it's one side, you know what I mean? So that would restrict it. But if I got a two-sided, that would be perfect.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what I think would be most visible if people are coming, because once they pass the driveway, it's really hard for people to turn around and that could cause a traffic issue.
Right, exactly. Yep, I agree with that.
we allow, we allow two-sided political signs and so forth. I don't think there's a problem with one or two-sided.
Not at the size they are.
No, that's, yeah.
Right.
I still feel that I like Richard's idea of approving a sign affixed to the fence to the right of the, and you can decide what's right and left, to the left of the driveway, to the right of the driveway, parallel or perpendicular as the owner or the proprietor deems most beneficial.
I still think that putting it on the fence will make it,
You're breaking up.
and I don't know why.
There is no reason why I would have to adhere to the fence. If anything, it would be in a yard stake. So I can say, like, if that is an issue, I will make sure it's not adhered to the fence. And if I do get more replacements, I'll just make sure it's in the yard stake. Right. I know.
It's Dave that's having, Dave, you're all breaking up now too.
Should I sit closer to the microphone?
Maybe.
That's much
Try
better.
that. Yeah. Okay.
I just think it needs to be, where did you go? Darling?
We're here.
Need that back up?
I think it should be her choice because there is no problem adhering it to the fence. I don't think from the code or laws point of view.
Now, I don't mean to cut in or anything, but on this one picture coming up, where the real estate sign is, there is not any part of the white fence to the left that's completely missing on that picture, where there now is a white sign, or white sign, excuse me, a white fence going across on the left-hand side on this one picture. That's
Okay.
not the,
Got
because
it. I didn't realize that.
fence, and I redid everything and put the new toppers, fixed everything up, but there on this picture down here, there is no sign to the, or no fence to the left. So, and that
Okay,
would
I
be
didn't-
that area. Now, if you come down to the one, so there's a way to do that, to where I fixed it up, touched up the paint, brought in the new fence. I sent a few pictures to Jane about
Yeah, I'm
sign.
trying to pull those up now.
Okay, no problem. So now, like from the brown side of the fence to the left and the blue house, my lovely neighbors next door, there is now probably a 3.5 foot portion of a white wooden fence.
Okay, that helps a lot.
I'll pull those up in one sec. I just have to get them onto my computer so you can see them. Have to go someplace else.
Jane, if you need me to, I don't know if I can send those again to you, but if
No,
you
I
need-
have them here. I just have to open them up in a different program, so I just have to get
Okay.
to them.
no problem.
Nancy. Nance, can you tell me when this Maria is on?
Okay.
I can't hear you.
David, if you could mute yourself while you're calling across the house.
Now, if
Okay,
you see in
everybody
this
see this one
picture,
photo?
yeah, to the left, there's the pitch of the white fence that
I
wasn't there
see.
priorly. So that's why I would say I would adhere it to that fence. And if you see, I laid down, actually, that was while I was painting it, the tarp cloths and stuff. It would be to that right there in front of that left part of the fence, or it would be over to the right part of the house where you could see it. Because if I put something to the left, that white fence would block the viewing of
Yep.
that.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay,
Unless you put it
now I
on
get it.
that
Okay.
white fence.
Yes.
Nice job, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Buy it
screw that one.
5 times a day. Wow.
The Gentile family album here.
Yeah, I know. I had to do something else. I have to pick them one at a time. I can't pick them all together. So it's pain.
How about pictures of the cats?
We only have one
I don't
cat.
object to putting it on the fence if that's the end result.
I agree. I don't object
I
object
agree.
at all.
I have no problem with the fence.
Thank you.
You know, I have no problem with anywhere as long as it's, 10 feet from the street.
Right.
That, yes, indeed.
Shall I make a motion, Gene?
Go for it.
Yeah, make the motion contingent on approval.
Oh, of the special permit?
Yep,
Correct.
Okay, the move to approve the sign as submitted to be placed at the discretion of the owner at least 10 feet from the street and under condition that the approval for special permit is issued for business in a residential area.
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
All right. Any opposition? Abstention? Motion carried. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good
Best
luck.
business.
Who's second?
David,
David,
I
thank you.
did.
All right.
Okay, well, thank you very, very much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
All right, thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
You too.
All
Good,
righty.
thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I believe the iPhone will be Richard Bussey.
Okay, I will.
83 Main.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Catherine.
Hello.
Hey,
My
Beth.
husband was here at 4:30 and we couldn't figure it out. So he just asked me to stand in his place. So yes, yes. He had to
You're okay.
go cook at the restaurant. So I'm here in his stead.
Okay. Sounds good.
If that's okay.
Yes. I think.
Is that all right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not in charge.
So basically, I think he's just asking for his signs that were approved prior when we were on Main Street. Down at 139
Yeah.
to be moved to our new location because we left 139 in July. We went to Pioneer Street, but now we were given a chance to go back to Main. So we're 83 Main now. And he just wanted to see if those same signs could be approved to be put on
No.
83 Main.
Are the businesses going to be, are you subdividing the interior?
No, we're just combining because there really isn't a way to subdivide.
Right. It just seems like you would just want to have one sign, one business name. I'm just thinking back to when Augers Books was sharing a space with the Cooperstown Kid Company,
Yep,
or whatever it was called,
yep.
and the confusion that would result inside with customers.
Okay,
But-
well, I think since where we were on Main Street before at 139, yes, there was a partition, but we were basically all one store and the customers all knew that when they came in because that's just the way it worked and they were fine with that and we were fine with it. Because there was a back room that was part of the building. So we had the back room and then the left side and the right side.
Right. It's a crazy space. Yeah.
It is a very crazy space. But we're going to keep, certain things on one side of the store and certain things on the other side of the store, but it's going to be one store. It's basically going to be Silver Fox Gift Shop, Christmas around the corner.
Okay.
If that helps.
Does that fit our ordinances and all that?
Yeah, that was my,
It's less than the square footage that's allowed. We don't specify that it has to be one sign. We just say overall square footage
Right.
in the documents. So both of these combined are less than the maximum square footage. So, and like I said, there are signs that are all existing. So it's basically taking the existing signs and just relocating them.
Yeah.
They
okay.
then want to also put up one projecting sign at the front and one projecting sign at the rear, because it will be a customer entrance on the rear. And that is allowed by the code. Both of those meet the projecting sign requirements. The only stipulation we comment on for that is one per entrance. So like I said, there's one entrance on the front along Main Street and one entrance off of Pioneer Alley. So in that case, both of those also meet. So the only one that's kind of going to be different is the fact that because on Pioneer Alley, it's considered a public way and or a public entrance, it's allowed to have also I believe it's 20 square feet on the rear facade for wall sign. So he's looking at basically taking this sign in the photo and placing it either over the door or up over the air conditioner unit on the Pioneer Alley side.
So it's not going to be projecting. Is there, or is there,
there will be a projecting sign, because that's also allowed.
Okay, so the one that was in the photo with Rich looks like it's been cut off, like the X was cut off.
No, that's the one he's going to use though. He's not going to replace it. I mean, that's the one he's planning on using.
Why was it cut down? It just seems.
I don't know.
Well, because it used to say Silver Fox Clothing Shop, and that was for the back room when we were on 139 Main Street. It said Silver Fox Clothing, so people would know we had clothes in the back room.
Okay.
So he cut off the word clothing shop.
Okay.
But the X is, for the most part, I'd say 90% still there.
Yeah. It's too bad he wasn't just a little bit to the right.
So it would say Silver Fox with that sign on the rear, and then the projecting sign would be the Christmas projecting sign.
Okay. Yes.
And then in the front, it would be the Christmas sign, the Silver Fox sign, and a projecting Silver Fox sign.
Yes.
Got it.
So, and from what I can tell, all of them are allowed as, together at the same time. It's not one or the other per the code that I can find. So.
And he's going to clean up the back because it's
I imagine that he paints everything every year. So he's,
yes.
he's quite a painter.
He is.
It'll be an improvement to the alley, that's for sure.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, the Silver Fox one will either go here or up here.
Right.
Most likely. And there's an existing bracket here for hanging, and there's an existing bracket in the front of the building that the Champagne Hippie or whatever it was sign used to be on.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think this is easier than the last one.
Yeah, I guess I just wish for a different sign for the back of it, because with the X cut off, it looks a little bit off-brand for you guys, because you guys always have nice looking properties. So,
well, what I can do is talk to Richard.
Well, no, I know, no, it's not a deal breaker. It's just a wishful thinking. So, but that's okay. It's not a deal breaker.
Okay.
By any means.
Okay.
I'll talk to Rich.
Okay. That works.
So I'm going to move approval of the application as submitted.
I second.
Thank you kindly.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
So
opposition?
when does Pioneer Alley get paved? Anybody with any
Good question.
authority or responsibility around here?
That's the village.
I
Talk to the
know.
It's the
village.
village. My dream, which may not be popular, but I think it would be an awesome pedestrian way that would be pedestrian only. And because this is not the only building that could have an entrance onto Pioneer Alley. And so some of the bigger spaces, maybe they could be subdivided into 2 spaces and have 2.
Well, I
big-
do know the back alley is used for so many delivery trucks.
Well, but usually pedestrian alleys, you can have deliveries.
Yes.
But the fact that it would just be much more attractive if it were a pedestrian alley with a decent sidewalk, sort of pavers, garbage enclosures,
Right. Makes
it's
sense.
the approach to the farmer's market. So it's in our best interest too, for it to be attractive and not dangerous to walk
Yes.
to. Because right now it's
Yes.
currently dangerous to walk
It's
in.
very dangerous. It's been dangerous for 35 years since we've been there in the alley for the restaurant.
Yeah, no, it's just the paving is bad. So.
Yes,
But I'm glad you guys are doing that because that will sort of show the potential.
exactly. I think it will look terrific. I think it'll look very nice and attractive, and maybe it'll attract other businesses to allow your back door to be open.
Right. Yep.
At least clean it up, at least, because it's just very unattractive with the
Mhm.
garbage and such.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's another story.
garbage is a fact of life. It has to go somewhere. So.
Yep.
That's the problem.
That's true.
So anyway, well, good for you guys.
Well, thank you very
Looking
much.
Forward to seeing the paint hit the building.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll look anything better than what it's been.
And there'll be flowers, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. He's already got plans. Mhm. He does.
So
So thank you all very much. I'll let him know when he gets home.
great.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Hi,
Bye.
Catherine.
Bye. Bye, Michael. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Thank you so much.
Okay, business wise, I know that Helmut cannot attend the meeting, so he'd asked me to present for that one. And as far as the pre-application for 40 Lake, I'm going to try calling Nancy Anger now. She's acting as the realtor for Jill. So they were going to try to.
Somebody's signing on an iPhone.
No, that's Jim
Yeah.
LaCava.
Nope.
The alternate.
He has both. Okay.
He's one of your alternates.
Yes, yeah.
No, I know. I'm seeing
Oh, the
his face.
iPhone, I don't know. I thought the iPhone was,
Start video and it was Catherine, so she might have just
right,
got
that's what I thought
it,
that one
okay.
was just Catherine.
Okay.
in
So,
Lacava's video. His audio doesn't seem to be working.
I'm sure he's listening.
Michael,
Yeah.
put in the minutes that David Perlman had to leave the meeting
Okay.
and that Jim LaCava can now vote since there are only 4 regular members present.
As long as he can connect to audio.
Yeah.
He can vote by the chat if he wants to type into the chat.
Okay.
Hoping he can hear us if we can't hear him.
Hold on. I'll see if I can send him a message, maybe. Oops. Type message there too.
if you like, I can do helmets right now.
Sure.
I just got contacted Nancy. She's going to try logging on now. So,
Okay.
I
Yeah, let's
can-
do helmets. My confusion was with the pictures. There's the awning, which it doesn't look.
Well, that
permanent.
was an old picture. So
Okay.
the awning is not there. So
Okay,
I'll
and where's
pull up-
the entrance? Yeah,
I'll-
where's the entrance to Cedar Ridge Realty? Is it through the?
It's
laundromat?
actually in the laundromat.
Okay.
So let
okay.
me pull this up
That
real
would
quick and
confuse me.
let me pull up the right one. So this is currently what it looks like with the Metro cleaners here and the baseball nostalgia here.
Mhm.
This was, so the new sign would just be located over here. The office space itself is roughly in here. It's just a
Yeah.
small single room space.
So he's not doing the ice cream anymore.
No, he's not doing the ice cream anymore.
Okay.
So yes, the signs are on metal. The one he's proposing is going to be exactly the same. This was just a mock-up to kind of show what it was going to look like. But it would look exactly like the other ones. They're mounted on brackets and wood. And yes, this was an old sign. This awning is not here. So it's just going to be located right inside there. All three sizes combined are still less than the 40 square feet that's allowable for wall signage. So
Okay.
I'm not sure if anybody has any questions that I
No.
hopefully could answer.
So Cedar Ridge's motto is "We take you to the cleaners." Is that?
Ouch.
I move approval.
I don't see any issues with it. I second that.
All right, so that's, oh, it was Richard and Ellen.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 So, I don't think James is hearing us.
Hmm.
I haven't got any answer.
Let me text him and see. Can you hear?
Yeah, because I sent him a message and I said he could vote, but I haven't heard back from him in the chat.
I think it's
Do we
like
need-
some
do we
kind of a
need his vote
lockup.
for- Do we need his vote for the quorum or are we good? with
We're
four?
good without it.
Okay,
A quorum is 3.
okay, that's what I thought. Okay. All right. I just sent him a text to see if he can hear the planning board meeting. We'll see what he says.
While we're waiting for that, there was a story in the press that was pretty concerning about the merger of Tops and Price Chopper and the future of Price Chopper in Cooperstown, that supermarket. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen, but it could turn out fine, and it could turn out that we may be dealing with new owners and Price Chopper. It could well be a different supermarket chain. We may have to approve some things, but we can first remember that when we were approving CVS, we wished that there would be a sidewalk connecting the two, CVS and Price Chopper, but the Price Chopper owner of the property was not too agreeable. But if it's a new store that needs approvals and so forth for signage and so forth, we got some leverage to maybe get that sidewalk through, because CVS approved it in their plan, contingent on whenever it could be connected from Price Chopper. So
Mhm.
that may be something that we can say, hey, now's the time, you got to put a sidewalk connecting those two properties for the convenience of
Mhm.
shoppers and people and pedestrians in Cooperstown.
Mhm.
I'm just
I
throwing that out now, just so people don't forget that.
Right. I don't think you'll let us forget, Richard.
No, I won't. I won't.
I think it's a little early. It's all conjecture at this point. We have no idea what their plans are, so.
True, but one of the options is that for the merger to take place, the new corporation might have to give up one of those, either Tops or Price Chopper, to a competitor, because there won't be any competition for supermarkets in this area.
Are there competitors in this area at all?
Well, Tops versus Price Chopper.
I
And
know,
Oneonta,
but besides
been a-
them, who is there?
Aldi, BJ's, Walmart.
Yeah, those down in Oneonta don't, I mean, the newspaper story said that these were the only two stores within this merger area where they were overlapping in their competitive areas.
It just depends on where on how they draw the boundaries there. Because people
Yeah.
here, people in Cooperstown drive to Hannaford's.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe
There's competition.
if Price Chopper doesn't exactly exist anymore, maybe the Hannaford's off limits thing goes away. Maybe Hannaford could come in.
Yeah, well, they might come in, we're one of either in the Tops facility or in the
Right.
Cooperstown facility. And I think that'd be great, one or the other. I mean, I'm not opposed to that, but if it is Hannaford, say, comes in to the Price Chopper in Cooperstown, they're gonna need their own signage and so forth, and they're gonna come to us asking for approvals, and we got some leverage.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Jean, do you want me to kind of just walk you guys through the subdivision? And hopefully
Yeah,
Nancy
why
gets
don't we-
on
I
at
mean,
some
yeah,
point.
Is she calling on? Because does she know she's the last applicant
Yes.
at this point?
So basically, if everybody's familiar, this is
Mhm.
one of the houses on Lake Street that goes all the way down to the lake.
Yeah, this is Jill's house, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So right now her property actually consists of two distinct separate tax parcels. Right here, this is an existing second lot that is landlocked. That's tied in
Why?
with, it's just
So
how
weird.
it always, that's how it is. I don't know
Okay,
why they
okay,
never
yeah.
chose to share it or not. But
Yeah.
what she's looking at doing is taking the existing house, creating a property line that pretty much runs parallel with these two pieces all the way down to the lake and comes down. This is an existing situation, so it doesn't necessarily meet the side yard setback on this side of the house. They would propose putting in a 20-foot setback here, which meets the R2 requirement in the for a side yard setback. The issue that happens when you create this lot, when the trustees adopted the new zoning code, one of the things they added to these setback requirements was a percentage calculation, so that you either had to meet a definitive number, distance like 10 foot or 20 foot, or they allowed for a percentage. So on a side yard setback for a principal structure in the R2 district, technically you would need 20 feet for side yard setbacks, but you also are allowed to do a 20% of this distance, and then that adds up to this number instead. So they're actually allowed by the code to reduce the 20-foot number to the 11-foot because of this distance, which we have a minimum lot width of 50 feet in the R2 district. So this would be beyond the 50 feet. It meets it for square footage size. So like I said, we then end up dealing with the percentages that are allowed on the side yard setback, the rear yard setback. In a situation like this one, it's probably not as much of an issue because it's also butting up to the lake. So it's part of the waterfront protection overlay district. So there's a 100-foot no build line from the lake. So, because otherwise we have a 20-foot. And then for a front yard setback, the requirement is a 35-foot front yard setback, or the average of properties on the same side of the street in the same district, the average within 200 feet. So I believe because of the fact that they're still showing a 35-foot, even though this house is closer, when you looked at the 200 feet, you actually took into account the yellow mansion that's the next door from them, that sits quite far back. So probably when you average it out, the 35 is still probably the lesser front yard setback. So technically there's, I would assume that at some point this would be incorporated into this new subdivision lot. it hasn't been shown that way one way or the other. I don't know. That would be part of their presentation. But otherwise, if this had just come down straight as it was, this is basically showing what it is. Now, this is just the preliminary pre-application. So they haven't actually submitted an application yet. They just wanted to kind of, oh, looks like she's here now. I'm admitting her. So
Okay.
we can get them on and let them finish talking about it. But I just wanted to let you know, kind of walk you through what's shown up on the screen now.
I think I'm on with Jane. Nancy, Jane?
Yes, Nancy, we can
Oh,
hear you.
God, I'm sorry. Took me forever. I apologize.
We're here.
I'm good. Thank you, honey.
I kind of just finished walking them through as far as what you're proposing, but if you want to kind of go through it again, just to fill them in on everything.
Sure. If you look at the diagram, what Jill would like to do is take a parcel that is towards the east of her property down to the lake with, I think, approximately, I'm not sure how many feet of lake frontage there is, but I want to say around 75 feet of lake frontage, to be determined, and have that as a building lot. And I think Kevin Yurden did that precisely on the electronic that he sent over to Jane.
Okay.
So here is, I don't know if you can see it, this is Willowbrook here. So for this front, so right now Jill has a second piece of property that's not
landlocked.
attached to this. Is that
Yeah.
going to be a part of this parcel?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It was landlocked, so yes, it's going to be part of that parcel, absolutely.
Yeah. It's a weird little bit. Okay. So the building area, because of the setbacks from the lake and all of that, where is the buildable area, Jane?
Well, like I said, you can, there's a 35-foot front
Right.
yard setback, which technically could come this way.
Yes, yes.
You would then have a 20-foot line along here and a 20-foot line against this piece. But then once you got to this, technically, per our code, these two lighter dash blue lines would be the buildable lot. And
Okay.
technically, it could get built all the way down to, I want to say,
So
to at least
that's not
here.
marked on here. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Is like,
It
where's
could
the
get-
mark down there? Yeah.
It could get built all the way down to here with our 100-foot water protection overlay. Otherwise, there's a 20-foot rear yard setback. But like I said, we automatically trigger in the 100-foot, so that would fall somewhere right around
And
here.
that's why I was just trying to figure out where the 100-foot, I wasn't sure, because I kept looking at the green line and now I realize it's a sewer line.
Right.
Okay.
So
let's
if you're,
get
because
Cooper's-
if you're familiar with Pioneer Street, this sewer line is running between where the Oxleys live at 14 Pioneer and the vacant lot that's farther north of them.
Right.
So
Right.
the Oxley's house right now is about here, and right now this is a vacant lot right
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
So it looks like this will be Cooperstown's first shotgun house, huh?
No, I mean, my house is 17 feet wide in the section that I live in. So it's not exactly shotgun. 34 is not, it's certainly big enough. So,
Yeah.
but my question is, there are a lot of trees. I don't know what our tree ordinance is. I know that that's.
According to Nancy, it sounds
Board.
like that there's an actual line of trees pretty much where this property line was gonna go.
Right, it's really hard to
Um,
see from Google Maps, so,
Right.
yeah.
There is a
Oh, so-
row of trees that is almost a natural barrier where Kevin has done this. And
Okay.
then there are trees interspersed down through that, not a tremendous, not a lot.
Okay. I can swing by and take a look too, but if they're not big, then that's okay. It's
Right.
just, I know
Mo-
that there is a tree ordinance about the number of the percentage of trees you can cut over a certain diameter or something.
30% in a 10-year period
Thank you, Jane.
with a
I knew-
diameter of 6 inches above 4 feet off the ground.
Yes.
But the planning board,
But if there were, if
the
there,
planning board could waive that as part of a site plan.
yes,
Correct.
Right, is
And,
that-
this, because it is in the waterfront overlay district, will, even though it's a single family house, will need to go through site plan review with the planning board.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Okay. Those are my questions for now. Yeah. All right. So,
If anybody would like to walk the property with me, I'm happy to take them.
thanks, Nancy.
Thank
With
you.
hip waders, hip boots.
Mhm.
Right now, because of the snow. All right.
so Jean, is there anything more that you would want on the preliminary site plan than
Just
what's here, or?
just taking a look at the statute to see if there's anything else we need.
You're okay, Theo. You're fine.
And I think this is okay for just a preliminary sketch.
Mhm. But moving forward to the final, are there things that we should have them starting to do right away? I mean, you guys are only selling this as a vacant lot, right?
Yes.
So it's not right now coming back to you for site plan review, or,
Mhm.
Okay. I think it'd be important to show that that little bit that is currently not included would be included, that little landlocked bit would be included in this lot on the final.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to have the new property lines
Yeah.
in there.
So what would you like me to do? Tell me what you'd like.
so it's bearings, dimensions. Most of the setbacks are already on there, other than the up by the lake. And then identifying that these two properties, when they get identified, are single property.
Jane, regarding Willow Brook, are there?
We don't have any stipulations for Willowbrook at all.
Well, what about the state?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feeds into the lake, so we should look into that.
It's a
It's-
year, are there any?
I mean, you guys are gonna have to do a seeker review on this, so
Right. Yeah.
that has to be done. But like I said, we've never dealt with Willowbrook at all for anything, one way or the other. So,
Probably should, considering, not this property. I don't think this property would have a huge impact on it, but there are other properties further down Willowbrook that might.
so
So. But yeah, that's part of seeker, isn't it?
I would assume that it would be covered into it. The
Yeah.
question is whether or not you'd want them to fill out a long form or a short form for this. I mean, the long form is fairly involved and deals with more environmental stuff than a short form does. And I think you guys have the option to decide which you would prefer to deal with.
We
I
had,
think.
we had dealings with Willowbrook when the proposal to build the hotel on Main Street, their parking lot was over Willowbrook, and whether there'd be drainage from the
Yep.
parking lot into the stream going underneath. If you remember that.
It was
Mhm.
before me.
Well, the hotel never happened, but that was
Right.
something that we were.
Well, I mean,
looking at.
Right, I think that it's going to be important to be consistent. Because it does feed into Otsego Lake, which is our source of drinking water. So I think, while it may not have a big impact on the lake, obviously, I think it's still something that, should we be consistent and require it? I don't know. Jean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think if it could have an impact on the lake, I think we should have more detail rather than less.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the impact would be, potential soil erosion, really, and sedimentation into the lake, not, heavy chemicals or whatever.
I
Or
mean,
sewage or
technically,
anything like that.
Fortunately, there's
technically
a
for the
sewer line
actual
there.
for the subdivision section that you're dealing with right now, there won't be any kind of issues. It's more going to come up probably in effect with the site plan review.
Right, but at the same time, if you're subdividing for the intention of a building lot, then you have to assume that the building will be built there. So you can't subdivide and then say, sorry, it's not suitable for building after we've made the homeowner or the landowner go through all of this. So I think it's something that should be reviewed and approved from the get-go. Maybe I'm,
No, that's fine.
No, because there's no, I do not want to market a piece of land that's not buildable.
exactly.
When we did on Brooklyn Avenue, there's a building lot, the vacant lot there that backs on the Susquehanna.
Mhm.
And it was asked, the owner asked us to approve it as a building for construction of a home. It was next to the McKenna's,
Yep.
Bert's, that house. And to approve it as a building, we at that time required them to show, here's where you, basically a site plan. Where would the house be? What were the distances? What was the setback from the Susquehanna River? Because that was the flood zone and so forth. So we had a lot of detail before we said, okay, a house and, where would be the driveways and all that sort of stuff. It never happened, but they have a site plan basically approved to they want to sell it as a building lot. They got it all approved to go forward with a house there.
Right. I don't know that we need to go through the whole, where's the driveway going to be and all of that, but because it already shows where the buildable lot is. And as long as the plat or whatever it is that as long as we see where the 100-foot, water district overlay is, then I think it'll be fairly obvious where the building lot would be. And any potential erosion issues from
Yeah.
I just think it's easier to do it now than wait for a homeowner who may find out that it's not,
Right.
feasible to
Yeah,
build
no,
there.
that's
So I
fine.
think it's better to do it before Nancy goes through all of this.
Jean, can I ask? I need to ask Jean one question. If she goes through the seeker one now, does it also, a site plan review also require seeker? So I'm just wondering if we are going to look at everything exactly the same time twice and whether we need to do long forms for both, or long form, short form, or short form, long form, or that kind of thing. Because I've never done a site plan for a house since I've been here, just because typically they're not required.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we've only done once since I've been on the board. It was in the Middlefield town, part of the village. It was but yeah, I don't know the answer for seeker. If
I'm happy to do whatever the village would like me to do. And if it means doing whatever seeker, I just want to be able to market this property as a buildable lot, even if I have to define where the building site must be, that I've gone through the due diligence.
Yep. You just turned your mute off, Nancy. I mean, you just muted yourself.
Oh,
We
yeah.
can't hear you. There, you're back. Okay.
I'm back. Sorry, my phone rang. You know, even if I have to say as I market that this is where the footprint needs to be for your building, and you need to stay within these, you know, parameters, that's fine. I just want to make sure that I know I have my ducks in a row before I go ahead and market a property, and telling them, you know, intelligently that they can do something.
I guess we should do, you know, the site plan at the same time.
Okay.
So there'd be one seeker, and you know that it's marketable, and you could market it, you know, with a site plan.
Perfect. Happy to do that.
Great.
Okay. Great. A new building lot,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
lakefront building
Or-
lot.
Yeah. Super.
More tax revenue.
More people, more residents, more shoppers on Main Street.
Yeah.
Unless we put some other businesses there.
Oh, they're filling up. They'll fill up this spring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. There's a statutory requirement that we have to go through within 45 days of today, which might as well do now. And what this says in section 245
-2.
2A3, says within 45 days, the planning board shall inform the subdivider that the plans and data as submitted or as modified do or do not meet the objectives of the chapter, and it shall express the reasons therefore. The objectives of the chapter, in essence, would be met by adding a new residential property with the village. We have precedent in saying that previously, and is modified, you know, it would include all the things we've discussed today.
Mhm. So but this is the pre-application meeting, so this is not doesn't start the clock, I don't think.
Now, this is,
Is Jane still there?
Yes.
Oh, there you are.
this, you know, that is part of the pre-application procedure, Ellen.
Oh, so the clock starts on the pre-application?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Well,
that's,
that's within the 45 days. Then we have another clock when you start looking at the
Got it. Okay.
preliminary site plan and final site plan.
yeah, this is just letting Nancy know that, you know, if things work out as we've discussed, then that would be okay with us. That's in essence what we're.
Great. Thank you.
Great.
So,
So we'll look at next month as being the preliminary layout meeting and maybe go through seeker, or because you don't want to set the public hearing until you're sure about what the plat looks like, right?
yeah.
Right.
Well, hey, Dean, usually, I think, don't you usually make a motion that it meets the,
Yes, that's what I was about to do. Let me pull this up again. So I move that the planning board declare that the plans and data submitted, including the modifications as discussed and set forth in the minutes of this meeting, meet the objectives of the subdivision chapter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposition, abstentions? So that carries.
Okay,
Okay. So,
great. See you next month, Nancy.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time.
okay.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
was next month the public hearing?
No,
No. All right.
Okay.
Jane,
Yes.
in this instance, should we do the seeker separately from the public hearing on the subdivision?
Well, you don't need to have public hearing for seeker, so you guys can choose whenever you want to do it. If you feel that it's easier to do it next month, we can get it out of the way and get it done with, and then only deal with the public hearing for the final meeting in April. April? Yes, April.
Yeah,
I mean, you had said you were looking at trying to do both a subdivision and a site plan review. I'm not sure what information you require on a site plan review for single family houses, whether you're actually looking for a actual building location.
Yes.
So you actually do need a design then for a house,
yes,
which you won't have for this because they're not planning on building the house. They're planning on just selling it as a vacant lot. So we won't know where the final design is. We'll know that it has to be within boundaries, but we won't know where they're actually going to locate a house. So
No,
I don't think,
I thought what we discussed with Nancy was that we would have a full site plan so she could market this and say, this is where things have to be built.
I think within a certain parameters, but is it going to be, the house has to be 20 feet wide by 30 feet long and,
Yeah,
I don't think we're going to be.
I mean, this is going to be a piece
Requiring
of
that
property
kind of
that's worth a fair amount of money. Somebody's either going to come
Yeah.
up with, a funky design or, nobody's going to put a shotgun kind of ranch there. So I don't think that she can market it or it'll help. I don't think she'll want to market it as a specific design. Like I said, she has every right to market it and say that it can only be built in this area, but this area is, maybe 200 feet long by 35 feet wide.
that's fine with me.
So I think we will have to end up doing two, if we have to do a secret review for a site plan review, and I have to check on that because with their percentages and things like that, it might not be required for a single property to do a site plan review.
Yeah, it might be exempt.
Right.
For,
And that's why I'm saying, but I think we definitely need to do it for the subdivision.
Yes.
So we'll plan on doing that. And if you want to, I'll make sure that she gets the long form of, which is like 13 pages for the applicant to fill out. So it does include quite a bit. And then I'll start looking at filling in the part 2 for the board and then try to get it out before to you guys so you can review what I felt should be right. And then if you have comments to what I'm checking, you can come up with that, but we can plan on doing that next month then.
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds good.
When we did the Brooklyn Avenue, we basically required the property owner to propose a notion, what would be a notional home, primarily because there was no way to have a garage, except on the front of the house. So he had, representational model house. I mean, it didn't have to be in the end of the day. That doesn't have to be identical, but in other words, that the driveway would come in from the street and the garage doors would be facing the street. You wouldn't drive around the back. They couldn't couldn't be no garage because of the slopes and so forth to have the cars drive around the house and have a garage in the back. So in other words, that was particular to that site. So if there are things particular to this site, we would want to specify them, but I don't see that this site has grave limitations like the Brooklyn Avenue house that, that it's more or less where the envelope would be for building a structure. And that's essentially in what they're providing from the setbacks. But there may be some things we need on the Willowbrook side that when we look at it, we might decide what those setbacks are or how that has to be handled, but that would be it, in my view.
Right, because
The house
I
is going to
think,
be up on Lake Street. It's not going to be down that narrow strip. That's just to give people access to the lake and, maybe a swimming pool back there or something, but, the house is going to be horizontal to Lake Street. That makes the most sense.
so I'll make sure that they come back with the site plan with the bearings, dimensions, showing where all the setbacks are, and we'll go from there then.
Okay.
For next month. So, and then as long as you don't have additional stuff that needs to get done, then we can do the public hearing for the following month.
All right.
All right.
We had some of this same issue on Pioneer Street where they subdivided that spot near the corner of Pioneer and Elm. We said,
Right.
well, where would the house be and the garage? A similar concept we had to deal with there
Mhm.
for making that a building lot.
That one was a little different. That was a wider lot, shallow. This is a shallow lot or
Yeah,
a
but we had
narrow
to-
lot that's really deep. So technically they could, drag it, they could theoretically put a house, 200 feet back or whatever and
Yeah,
just do a
they're
really
not
long
gonna
driveway.
build a motel.
Right.
Perfect for a
The one other thing that the village added to the new zoning is we have a overall lot coverage number that they have to meet
Yeah.
also in the calculations when we look at it, and the driveways do come into play there. So that would keep them from probably dragging it too far back down towards the lake.
Okay. Anything else anybody wants to discuss?
Nope.
Adjourn?
I actually have to get going. So
I move to adjourn.
Second,
I second.
Who
Oh.
seconded?
I did.
Richard,
I did, Ellen, Fred, we all did.
Everybody.
Everybody second.
Multiple seconds.
All in favor?
All in favor, yay.
Okay, we're
All
adjourned.
right.
Bye,
We're
everybody.
adjourned at 5:53.
Okay.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. See you all next month.
Yes, stay well.
Take care.
good
Bye.
night.